Council President, we're on the record.
Good? Council agenda, Township of Parsippany Troy Hills, Township Council agenda meeting of January 3rd, 2019.
Posting of notice and adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in accordance with the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Law by filing the notice in the office of the Township Clerk and by posting the meeting notice on the bulletin board at the Municipal Building on December 19th, 2018, where it has remained posted since that date. A legal notice appeared in the Daily Record and the North Star Ledger on December 27, 2018, and was forwarded by fax to other local newspapers and local radio stations on December 19, 2018. Council meetings are videotaped and aired on Cablevision Public Access Channel 21 at 11 a.m. and on Sundays.
Thank you. Please rise for the flag salute. Mrs. Grignani, if you would.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mr. DePiero,
Here.
Ms. Grignani,
Present.
Ms. McCarthy,
Here.
Ms. Peterson,
Here.
Mr. Carriffy.
Here.
Also in attendance are Business Administrator Keith Kazmark, Mayor Michael Soriano, Township Attorney Jim Lott, and Township Clerk Colette Madden. Council President, we have a quorum. You may begin.
Thank you. Upcoming meetings, January 22nd, 2019 at 7 p.m.
Oh, sorry, we need to change those.
That'll be the regular meeting, and February 5th, 2019 at 7 p.m. will be our agenda meeting. Approval of minutes, regular meeting, December 18th, 2018. Presentations, reports, Mayor? Anything? Nothing?
Nothing to report. Thank you.
Township Attorney, Mr. Lott?
Happy New Year.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Kazmark?
Thank you, Council President. First of all, I want to wish everyone a happy and healthy New Year. I want to thank the Clerk's Office and all the council members for their indulgence in trying to set up the series of affordable housing meetings that we will begin tonight in executive session, and we will continue over the next 2 Tuesdays. Been working closely with Mr. Lott, Ms. London, and Ed Snikes on putting a plan together for the council to consider as we finalize what our affordable housing plan will look like to submit to the Superior Court in late February. We've also circulated a number of dates for potential budget hearings, working closely with Ann Cucci and her staff and Dan Cassis to formulate a draft of the 2019 budget before we have all the year-end information, and we will hopefully be finalizing those dates with the members of the council in the next week or so. Thank you.
Thank you. Township Clerk, Mr. Madden?
No report. Thank you, Council President.
Township offices, committees, reports?
Not this time.
Nothing? Okay. All right, engineering report. Lake Parsippany Road Improvements Phase 6 project. Construction of the 6th phase of the Lake Parsippany Road Improvement Project remains in progress. Issues with the water main installation and bacterial testing have delayed the project. Work will continue as long as the weather is favorable and will be completed in the spring. No council action required. Old Bloomfield Avenue Phase 1 project. The first phase of the Old Bloomfield Avenue project is substantially complete. Only minor punch list items remain. No council action required. Marine Area Streets Phase 2 project. The second phase of the project is substantially complete. Minor cleanup items will continue as long as the weather is favorable. Final restoration will be completed in the spring. No council action required. Mount Tabor Area Streets Phase 3 improvement project. Construction on this project is approximately 40% complete. Work is stopped for the winter and will continue in the spring. No council action is required. Drainage issues. Engineering and the Public Works Department are still investigating numerous drainage issues. The Cherry Lane issues are still being evaluated, but the wet weather has delayed some of our ability to get equipment on site to investigate more thoroughly. Crews have inspected drainage lines and will continue to investigate until the source of the problem is identified. Several other drainage concerns in town are being investigated. No council action required. CRG 119 LLC Performance Guarantee Release Block 393.1 Lot 7. The developer completed all site work in accordance with the approved plans. Inspections were made during the course of construction, and this office has no objection to the release of the performance bond number 719-95683. A resolution will need to be adopted by the Township Council.
We'll have
Bids. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Council President. We'll have a resolution at the next agenda meeting.
Thank you. Bids taken, none to be taken. January 17th, 2019, Knoll West Country Club irrigation system replacement. January 24th, 2019, SCADA system improvements. Quotations, proposals, qualifications, none. This time I'll entertain a motion, open up the public hearing.
Motion. Second.
Motion made by Ms. Peterson, seconded by Ms. Grignani. Roll call. Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Floor is open to the public.
Richard Rosenthal, Part 2.
Okay.
I get another bite of the apple. Come on. I didn't realize it was going to cook so long. Moving right along. One of the statements that the builder makes in the 1515 property, as we discussed before, Parsippany already has thousands of rental units. Another large rental complex is not what the township needs. Point blank, there are builders going to look at this town, they want to build. We need more building because we have to have the low income. And where is it going to be derived? It's going to be derived of all the other properties. Take a look at what's happening. I mentioned before other properties, but where we live, along Route 53 next to Hoover's, there's only four houses, which I think probably is about 4 or 5 acres. They each are in about 4 or 5 acres. I envision a builder assembling that plot for more building over here. I'm starting to look at other lots. And where the builders are going to come in, think of where the lots are in your area. That's where they're going to come into. It's going to be an intrusion of us, whether we agree to it or not. And this is one thing, Pierre, I mentioned before. I thought this would be the good start of a good high-rise building. Get it all over in one shot and raise it up. No, that was my idea. Okay, so I'm not against building. You have to understand, I am not against building. I want building to, it's going to be done, but I figured this is an area of Parsippany. It's the other side of Route 10. It doesn't interfere with anybody. Nobody cares what they do in there. It's going to be housing, it's going to be stores. Who cares? There's nobody in the immediate area. They're all from Hanover, and then there's a wetland, so they probably don't do it. If you're going to do something, let it be in an area that's not going to affect the rest of us. And again, with the point I was mentioning before, this is about millennials aren't looking to live here. And now, I want to take another thing. Of all the construction that I have seen going down Ridgedale Avenue into Morristown, the whole areas are being ripped out along the railroad. There's an area I never realized along coming along Route 202 behind ShopRite in that area. There are a huge complex in there. I drove in there recently because we had a dead end. We couldn't go on Malapartis. My gosh, these areas are being developed. You go up along Route 80 up to Wharton, development after development, huge housing developments. This is what we're going to have. And I figured if we can cluster in this area, let's get most of it over with here. But I still don't like the idea. And it's unfortunately, and I got to tell you something, I got to look something into here because I don't know when the master plan was adopted. But something doesn't ring true to me. Master plan's adopted, and all of a sudden, somebody says, okay, let's develop this piece of property on a payment of lieu of taxes. One final thing, you got to change. I don't care what you're saying. I'm on Route 10. I went into Mack-Cali today. You're going to get rid of that turn. You're going to put me in you're going to put all of us who are coming on here into a traffic circle at the end. I don't care what you're telling me about builders like traffic. If you ever been on the traffic circle in Flemington, there are 2 of them. Then there's one in Somerville, where 206 comes into Route 202. You go around the turn, you're going to get killed. I always get the feeling we're going to die, and we're making the turn here, and now you're building one, and you're going to tell me a builder likes it? I would like a person who drives a car to tell me he likes a traffic circle, and you're going to add it into here. That's one thing I totally disagree. Let those people who live in that apartment, I'm going to call it an apartment. By the way, it's an apartment house. When I was a kid, we lived in New York. It was an apartment house. The same people come to New Jersey, live in a high-rise. That's classy, right? You live in a high-rise. It's an apartment house. That's what it was. My relatives came in and said, oh, we live in a high-rise. No, it's an apartment house. Okay, let those people, there are 2 streets going in. All they have to do is just go back 100 feet or 200 feet and let them come out the driveway that exists there. And that'll make me happy on that at least. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rosenthal.
Good evening. Eric Densmore, 95A Mara Road in Lake Hiawatha. There's something I wanted to bring to the council's attention. It concerns the location where I live in Knoll Gardens, and that involves Knoll Road, which is in back of Knoll Gardens, in between the complex and the golf course of the country club. There's a major problem with speeders there, and my biggest concern is, in addition to the speeding, it's also a location where children are let off from the school bus. And it's not as much of an issue now because it's the winter time and it's cold, but come springtime, kids play in that area and the cars just speed all the way down. And I just think it's a disaster waiting to happen. Somebody is going to get seriously hurt. The police, to their credit, have been there to try to catch speeders.
Yes.
But they're not there, I think, at the proper times. I've seen them there at 9:30 in the morning when commuter hour has come and gone. I've seen them there at 11 o'clock in the morning. Again, sort of downtime for traffic. They're not there at the prime hours to really catch the people. And if they have a constant presence there, the motorists will become aware of that and then not speed. Because it is very easy to speed down that road because it's a hill and you go all the way down to River Road right into Montville. It just generates natural momentum. And I just think somebody's going to get hurt. I really wish...
Eric, where are you talking about specifically?
Sure, okay. So, where I live specifically is right at the end of Knoll Gardens. It's Building 41. It is right at Knoll
Okay,
Road.
that's between the stoplight and North Beverwick Road, right?
That would be between
The blinking light,
the blinking light, yeah. So you have the blinking light at the end of North Beverwick and Knoll Road. Then you have the gas station. Then you have the senior center, and then the golf course begins. And then you, if I'm coming from that direction going up the hill, you'll eventually hit Mara Road, which is right where I live on the corner on the left. The golf course is on the right. And the school buses let all of the kids that go to school in Knoll Gardens, they let them off right at Knoll.
That's before that blinking light then?
Oh, it's way before the blinking light.
Okay.
It's probably about 3/4 of a mile before the blinking light.
That's before the entrance to the Knoll Garden? the
Yeah, Knoll
golf
Gardens
club.
has several entrances on that road. I'm talking about specifically, I observe it, one, because I live there, but also it's caught my attention because there's just a massive amount of kids every day being let off there. I've lived there for 5 years, and it seems like there's at least 24 elementary school kids that let off there. And during the time periods where there's warmer weather, like April or May, they start playing around there, playing ball, things of that nature. And then you have speeders going by. And I just think sooner or later one of these kids is going to hit. I hope get hit. I
So
hope I'm wrong.
what hours would you say, in your opinion, are the hours that you would like to see the
Commuting-
police there?
I would
commuting
say
traffic? 7 in the
not even.
morning?
I would
Maybe
say
talking-
probably between 2 and 4.
2 and 4 in the afternoon?
Yeah.
Anything
I would
in the
maybe,
morning,
to
or-
be more precise, I would say maybe between 3 and 4 in the afternoon.
Well, probably a little bit, for the kids when they're getting off the bus.
The kids are
Time
probably
frame.
getting off the bus at about, I'd say maybe roughly around 3:15, 3:30, give or take.
So to be safe, 2:30 to 4?
Yeah.
Okay, what about in the morning?
In the morning, I'm at work in the morning. I work in the limousine business, so I work from like 4 a.m. to noon. So I'm not home at that hours for the most part, unless it's my day off.
But there's bus stops there, so there's kids out there waiting
Sure.
for the bus.
Yes, and I'd imagine it's the same
So-
problem. I'm just
The time frames maybe when the kids are out there with the bus,
Yes.
waiting for the buses.
yes. So maybe they're out there. I'd say
8
7:30, give or take. Again,
Probably
these,
7 to 8:30 maybe?
yeah, these are mostly elementary or grammar school kids.
Okay.
Anything else?
Nope.
Okay, so, thank you.
Okay.
First of all, you're not the first person to bring this issue up in the town, and certainly not on that road. We now have an initiative right now with the police department, working together with the Board of Education's Department of Transportation to do some training and coming up with methods to help the school bus drivers deal with the traffic that's going around them. There's nothing I can say on it yet, but it's certainly an issue of reporting. We have noticed, besides the speeding, we have had reports, and even some of us personally have seen drivers who ignore the stop sign that buses have when
Yeah.
they're picking up children, which is something I will not tolerate. Also, I am going to bring this to the attention of the police department when we've been dealing with traffic and talking about traffic issues on a weekly basis, actually. So it's good that you're seeing the police officer there, you're saying in the morning, but not necessarily in the afternoon?
Not necessarily in the afternoon.
Okay.
And when I've noticed in
Okay.
the morning, keep in mind, during the mornings, that's when I'm working pretty much.
Sure,
so I'm
sure,
not there
sure.
every
Believe
day.
me,
I'm
believe
home.
me, I know what that's like to start
Yeah.
early in the morning with work. What we do normally is we do have the police department study an area before they deploy a patrol unit there.
Sure.
Okay, and we
Yeah.
study the high volume and how high the volume is, because they want to maximize the money that we're putting into having officers sit at a spot and making sure that we're being the most effective, the most visibility. With that said, your concern is certainly raising something in me, so I'm gonna make sure I bring this to the attention of the police department.
That time period may not necessarily, the time period that I am mentioning, that I've observed, may not necessarily be the busiest as far as volume of traffic. I'm sure 4:30, 5 o'clock is
Yeah.
busier.
Yeah.
However, it is the time period where I feel there is a danger to the children.
Sure. Sure.
Thank you.
All right, thank
Okay.
you very much.
Well, that device that the police department puts up that can tell you what your speed is, it records all those speeds and the times. So they get a very, very good picture
Yes, they do.
of what times and what the speeds are for all different times. So they know exactly when they should be putting somebody out there.
Yep, they do.
All right, see no one else come forward, I entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion. Second.
Motion made by Ms. Grignani, seconded by Ms. Peterson. Roll call, Mr. DePiero.
Yeah, yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Floor is closed.
Okay, ordinances, status of adopted ordinances. Ordinance 2018:27 was adopted December 18th, 2018. Mayoral action, December 20th, 2018. Effective date, January 9th, 2019. Ordinance 2018:28 was adopted December 18th, 2018. Mayoral action was December 20th, 2018. Effective date will be January 9th, 2019. Introduction, none. Second reading and public hearing, none. Resolutions, consent agenda. Any questions or concerns from any council members?
Not at this time.
Okay, anybody else? No? Okay, at this time, Mrs. Peterson, executive session.
Executive session resolution. Whereas the Open Public Meetings Act, PL 1975, Chapter 231 permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas the Township Council is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, and whereas the Township Council wishes to discuss affordable housing litigation round 3, and whereas minutes will be kept, and once the matter involving the confidentiality of the above no longer requires confidentiality, the minutes can be made public. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Parsippany Troy Hills that the public be excluded from this meeting. Motion to adjourn into closed session.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Ms. Grignani, seconded by Ms. Peterson. Roll call, Mr. DePiero.
Yes.
Ms. Grignani.
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy.
Yes.
Ms. Peterson.
Yes.
Mr. Carriffy.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to
There'll
recess.
be no action taken after that meeting,
Council President, I
correct?
think there was an addendum to the agenda, so the only thing you'll need to take action on is the bill list and the authorization for payroll.
Correct.
But it's pro forma.
You want to do that now,
Why don't
actually?
we do that?
Yeah,
now?
why don't we
Actually,
do
no,
that now?
no, because now I have to go to motion to go back in. So let's just go and then we'll
Alright.
come back and we'll do it.
However the clerk would like to handle it.
All right.
Motion to
Oh,
reconvene the regular.
very quickly, can we tell the individuals who are here to answer any questions, like Mr. Dan Cassis, tax assessor, your favorite tax assessor, stayed here very patiently. Do we have any questions for him? Because then we can ask him to leave. Any questions?
Can we ask you to leave?
We could ask you to leave.
All right, you're good.
I'll vote for that.
Thank
We're
you.
good?
You're good, thanks. Thank you for being here.
Dan, we appreciate your time.
Okay. Call you when I get up for the gym at 4:30.
Motion to reconvene.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Ms. Peterson, seconded by Mr. DePiero. Roll call. Mr. DePiero,
Yes.
Ms. Grignani, Ms. McCarthy,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. Carriffy.
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Grignani? Yes.
Okay.
We're back into open session. We need to approve the bill list.
Okay, approval of payroll and bills list.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Hold
Oh,
on, let me
sorry.
read it. CFO Ancucci recommends authorization for payment. Authorization payment of the January 11th, 2019 regular and miscellaneous payroll estimated at $1,700,000. Payment of bills from voucher list December 18th, 2018 to December 31st, 2018 totaling $17,762,086.70. Motion to approve the authorization for payment above.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Peterson, seconded by Mr. DePiero. Roll call. Mr. DePiero?
Yes.
Ms. Grignani?
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. Carriffy?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion.
Second.